Portions of the following program may have been pre-recorded.
The following program's views, claims, or ideas may not reflect those of WSRR Radio or StylesRebelRadio.com.
Welcome to Behind Enemy Lines on WSRR Radio, bringing back the underground music scene, nationally local. This is WSRR Radio. I'm Lucas D'Ororazio, joined by Dom Ferro. This is Behind Enemy Lines, your Cleveland talk show in Pittsburgh. We're on the North Shore right now, just blocks away from Acrisure Stadium. We're on Sunday night. Steelers suffered a loss, last-second loss to the Cowboys. We're recording this on October 9th, Wednesday, right? It's Wednesday. And we have just wrapped up season week five of the NFL season. Looking forward to week 6.
Longest week of football since, I think, like the 80s, I think I saw.
Why is that? You mean longest day? The Sunday?
Might have been longest day.
Yeah. Well, because it started in London
at 9
a.m., Vikings and Jets. And then it didn't finish until after midnight.
Yeah, close to 1 a.m.
Yeah, I mean, that's
brutal.
It was over, how many hours is that? A lot.
A lot
of hours of football, which is fine for me when I'm just watching.
18 hours, I think. 16 hours?
Good math. I have no clue.
I was guess there.
That's too many. Yeah, 16. That sounds more right. 12 plus 4 is 16. There you go.
But it was a tough way to end that longest day of football. It made me think, it's too much football for one day.
Yeah, it is a little bit long. It's a marathon. Especially, honestly, a lot of people love the London games. They're like, oh, man, I get to watch it, wake up and drink coffee and watch football. Like, I woke up at 9:30, and I was like, oh, man, there's already a game on. Like, I'm just not watching that.
Yeah,
like,
it's never a good game either.
Yeah, it really isn't ever. I get this one kind of got close near the end.
But the teams aren't good.
Yeah, well, the Vikings are. The Vikings are undefeated.
Yeah.
Right now, Sam Darnold and the Vikings are 5-0. Who would have thought that coming into this year?
I was high on Sam Darnold. I think I say it every episode.
You do.
This guy should have gotten a chance. And Justin Jefferson, he's the best wide receiver in the league, by far.
Yeah.
No one's close.
Yeah, and I mean, they got Aaron Jones, who obviously still has a lot of gas left in the tank.
I don't know about that. I don't think he finishes the season.
Fantasy-wise, he's playing great, I'll tell you that much. He's not on my team, but I always see he seems like he scores a touchdown like almost every week.
Yeah, I just don't think it's going to
great.
continue much longer with him.
No?
I think he's had that history with the Packers, a little bit of the injury, bad luck in the last few seasons, I think. I think Ty Chandler's going to take over. I think they're going to be fine.
I think we talked a little bit about it last week, like the running back by committee. I think that Ty Chandler has come in when he's gotten his chances and played very well from what I've seen. And I think that because of that, like Aaron Jones, like you said, Ty Chandler's going to get more, and Aaron Jones can kind of wean off. And then hopefully, from a Vikings fan's perspective, he's healthy and ready for a postseason run. Because I think he is their number one back right now. He's got more experience than Ty Chandler.
Definitely.
Especially, a guy like that is huge in like pass protection. Someone who's been in the league that long and just being a steady force, steady calming force on the offense. And I think that he's really helped them out. But I think he's a guy who really benefits from the running back by committee because he is at the end of his career.
Yeah, he needs
Zeke
it.
too, like guys like that.
Yeah, I think Zeke's another guy who will not be a running back by committee pretty soon. I think Dowdle's going to take over that backfield. Zeke is so slow.
What about Deuce Vaughn?
He's just not very good.
What about Dalvin Cook
I forgot they had
Dallas?
him. He used to be fantastic.
Is he on the practice squad?
I have no clue.
I couldn't tell you either. But
speaking about running back tandems and going from one of the best teams, the Vikings, to one of the worst, the Jaguars, I'm shocked that Tank Bigsby looks like the better running back than Travis Etienne.
Yeah, it seems like Etienne's fallen. He has a lot of flashes, and then it seems like he has a little bit of a fumbling problem too. He fumbled. Yeah. I forget which week it was. It was 1 or 2 that fumbled out of the end zone, like after a great run too. But yeah, Tank Bigsby,
explosive,
right? Very good. He had one of those angry runs this week where he was just bowling through guys, refused to go down, had a nice touchdown. I think the Jaguars might just have to go permanently to the throwback uniforms.
Yeah, they did look pretty cool.
They looked very good, and they won.
I like the Saints uniforms a lot this past weekend.
You like the black helmets?
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the away black helmets, I think it looked really cool.
I think the Saints I think they're probably the number one team who's ready for a new uniform.
Yeah, I don't like their.
I think they
regular-
need to make the gold a little darker. The gold helmets are like too light, kind of almost like yellowy. Like you look at like Vanderbilt, like their uniforms. Like we were going to talk about Vanderbilt beating Bama this week, but first just talk about the
their
uniforms. Like
jerseys.
they got the dark gold, like that old gold type, like, and that mixed with the black, like looks really, really good. I think like the Saints, their gold, quote unquote gold pants.
doesn't
Like
fit
they
anymore.
look beige. They look like khakis.
It's just it's outdated.
Yeah.
It reminds me of kind of like the Rams old jerseys when they were still in St. Louis. They were cool. They looked all right, but they were outdated to a point. They updated them, and I think people were kind of out on the new Rams jerseys for a while. But I think now people are like,
I
this
think they
matches
swung
with the
around.
times.
It's interesting when the Rams came out. I think one reason people were out on them was like they didn't have a white jersey. Remember they had that bone like off-white jersey.
Oh yeah.
Now
Forgot
they
about
just have,
that.
which I kind of liked. I thought that was cool. I was like, oh, that's like a different take. It's kind of off-white cream. Like that's fun. It's an LA team. You know, that kind of was in at the time, like the off-white, and now they've just completely gone away from it. It's like I would like to see that again. I don't mind. I didn't hate them, but I guess I'm in the minority in that.
You think there are some other outdated uniforms? Like, I don't think the Steelers can be. I think if they went back to, honestly, the block letters, the 70s
I don't understand.
numbers, I mean.
I think they. When did they go to the numbers they have now, though? Because now they're like traditional. Like when you see those numbers, you think of the Steelers now.
Yeah.
Like if they went to block numbers, it would kind of be like, oh, well, that, and you just saw that font of number. It's like, oh, that could be anyone. Where like there's certain teams who like made fonts almost. Like you look at the Eagles jerseys, like their number. If you see that number, it's like, oh, that's the Eagles font. At least I
Really?
personally do.
You think you'd know that?
The old Broncos ones, yeah. Like the old Broncos uniforms.
I think Broncos are another team that needs a new jersey.
They just got a new jersey.
But they
You
aren't
don't
good.
like the new ones?
I like the throwbacks they're wearing this past
Throwbacks
weekend.
are very nice. They're beautiful.
They're very
I didn't. I also didn't like the Broncos new jerseys at first, and now I've come around a little bit. I don't hate them.
I've come around on Bo Nix.
Really?
Yeah.
Ferris Bueller.
I don't
Did
think
you see the
I did.
Instagram he
It was
posted?
pretty cool. Cool little
You
clip.
like that?
Yeah.
A little Ferris Bueller's Day Off, a little swagger type. I don't know what that type of
I don't
cool
think he's
kid day
great.
off vibe.
I don't think he's great, but I think he could be a game manager.
Yeah, I think he's gritty. I think
Yeah.
he's a gritty Q, which I like. Like he doesn't have he's not jumping off the page in any like one thing, but he's kind of got those intangibles.
He's pretty calm, I'd say.
Yeah.
Keeps the ball safe.
He looks like he's ready for the moment.
He's not going to do anything flashy. He's not Mahomes, but I'm not saying he's Tom Brady, but cool, composed, staying in the pocket, keeping things safe. I think the Broncos might be all right.
Yeah, I think he has a good grasp of the game.
Yeah.
And I think my favorite sleeper on the Broncos is Jaleel McLaughlin, their running back.
They don't use him enough.
He's my favorite because I played against him. I always loved anyone who I played against, like personally.
Really?
And I can say, oh, I made a tackle on him. Then like they're my favorite player in the NFL.
And how nice was he in high school?
Oh, he was spectacular.
Yeah.
In college, I played against him.
Oh.
He went to Youngstown State.
Oh, really?
So he was really good. He actually went to Notre Dame College first. R.I.P. to Notre Dame College no longer exists, which
I've
is
never heard
where
of it.
I almost went. They were my number 2 school. I almost went to Notre Dame College.
Are they the Fighting Irish too?
No, they're the Falcons. Right down the street from John Carroll and University Heights in South Euclid. So they sold me as they're the only scholarship team in Cleveland, which they were. They were a D2 team. There's no really scholarship teams except for like Kent State, but that's not Cleveland.
Yeah.
Like, Akron's too far to be a Cleveland team. Like, they were the scholarship team in Cleveland, and now they've shut down the school, and it no longer exists. And
Why'd
he
they shut it
transferred to
down?
Youngstown State. I don't know. They lost funding, something like that.
So, did Jaleel McLaughlin go to high school in Ohio?
No, I think he's from like Missouri or something like that. I don't know how he made his way to Cleveland to go to NDC.
So he got drafted at Youngstown State?
Yes.
That's impressive.
And he was spectacular. I don't know if he was drafted even. He might have been, undrafted rookie. But he was really good.
I thought Javonte Williams was going to be better than he was. His rookie year was really good.
Yeah, he looked really, really good. I mean, knee injury, that's really tough, especially with like the style of running that he is. He seems like one of those bowling ball seeking contact type runners, which can be tough when you're coming back from a knee injury, which is kind of why I'm worried about Nick Chubb a little bit, which I know you're excited for him back for your fantasy team.
Yeah.
You're hoping that he, pops some big runs and looks like his old self.
I mean, I just like Nick Chubb. He's definitely my favorite Browns player of all time.
How can you not love Nick Chubb?
He's a beast.
He's your favorite over Jim Brown?
Who?
Jim Brown?
The Brown?
The Jim Brown.
Yeah,
you don't know who Jim Brown is?
Yeah, he's what they're named after.
No, that's Paul Brown, the coach.
Who's Jim Brown?
Jim Brown's the greatest running back who's ever played football.
What year did he play?
Like the 60s?
Yeah, I don't know 60s.
Him and Otto Graham were tearing up the league.
I've heard of Otto Graham.
You look up Jim Brown highlights. He's amazing. He cut his career too short.
Is that your favorite Brown?
I don't know. I did write an 8-page paper on him in 7th grade about why I thought he was the best football player of all time.
That's crazy.
And I don't know. I think I might have got a B on it.
So you think he's got it over Otto Graham too?
He's better than Otto Graham?
Is he?
Is that what your question was?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Really?
He's one of the greatest football players of all time.
Okay.
He's one of the people who, how like some people are like, oh man, like the league's better now, like whatever. And they're like, is there anyone from the past that would like be able to still be good in the league now? People say Jim Brown. They're like, oh man, I don't care that he played in the 50s and 60s. Like, he's one of the best players of all time. Like, he could be Derrick Henry right now. He was a freak of nature. He was huge. He went to Syracuse. He played lacrosse at Syracuse. They had to change the rules of lacrosse because he was too good at it.
I think I may have heard of this guy.
How? I'm offended if you haven't.
The name is just a little too...
It is too
simple for me.
It is too generic. My uncle's name is Jim Brown, and he is not this Jim Brown, but his name is Jim Brown. When I was young, I thought he was the Jim Brown, but he's not. He's just my uncle who lives in Florida. He has no relation to Jim Brown the Hall of Famer.
Who is your favorite Brown of all time, though?
I actually was thinking about this the other day because Nick Chubb's up there, Myles Garrett's up there, but like. And I really like Myles Garrett, especially like when I played defensive end. Like I would watch a lot of him and just be like, oh, like try to. Obviously, he's one of the best edge rushers of all time, and like in the league. So you want to emulate him. But there's something about him like underneath, which like I fully support him, and I obviously want him to like do as good as he can. But like there's something about him that's like kind of checked out almost. But I don't know. He's not like a motor guy, which is why I like TJ Watt, but don't like TJ Watt because like he's got a motor in every play. He's going 100%.
You don't think
it seems like there's sometimes like plays off.
He's not like a big leader, Myles Garrett.
No, I think he is, especially now.
But he's not like
when he came
up.
into the league, I don't know if he was a big leader, but like, yeah, I think there's sometimes some plays off. Like there's too many drives where he's not in.
Yeah.
Where like. Not too many. He's still, like I said, I mean, he's the defensive player of the year last year. I think he's a freak. He's awesome. He's our best player. But
do you think
Jarvis Landry was up there?
You think TJ Watt's actually like that? You think he's faking it?
TJ Watt?
His reactions, like after sacks and stuff. Is that what you're saying?
No. Where did you get
like
that?
The high motor stuff. You're like, it's too much.
No. I'm saying Myles Garrett doesn't have that.
Yeah.
Having a high motor is a good thing.
Okay, I see what you're saying. I thought you said you didn't like it about TJ Watt.
No, I didn't like that Myles Garrett doesn't have that.
I got you now.
I don't like that TJ Watt has it because he plays against the Browns.
I hear you now.
Is what I'm saying.
I got you.
Like I don't like that he's not on our team because he has a high motor and he goes 100% on every single play from whistle to whistle.
What do you think about when he goes crazy after a sack?
I mean, it's passion for the game.
Yeah, Myles Garrett isn't doing that though. If he gets a sack,
he does, but he'll
get hype, but he's not. Like,
he's got planned celebrations a little bit.
Huh?
Which, like, I don't mind. He has planned celebrations, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, which, again, I don't mind. It's hard to get to the quarterback, and when you do it, you can do whatever you want, in my opinion. But he's different,
Where does Josh Gordon rank? Top?
Josh Gordon's in my top 10, for sure.
I like that.
Mostly because of the what if, but also because the Browns were so bad that it was like, oh, man, at least we're getting to watch this guy. Like, he's balling out. He's sick. Only receiver ever he's like one of the few to have, like, what? Back-to-back 200-yard receiving games or something like that. He has some historic stat. I mean, he led the league one year in receiving yards, and he only played like 10 games.
And his quarterbacks were
awful. Jarvis Landry was up there for me at one point with favorite Browns because he helped shift the culture.
Yeah.
Like I said, Nick Chubb, Bernie Kosar, a guy I never got to watch, but like obviously the Browns meant a lot to him and Cleveland meant a lot. he meant a lot to Cleveland.
About Joe Thomas.
Joe Thomas is up there. I was actually just thinking about Joe Thomas today. There's a lot of Browns who didn't have a ton of success because we don't have anyone who's had a ton of success, but are Cleveland, accepted sons of Cleveland almost. You know what I mean? Everyone loves them.
Yeah.
And for good, maybe not for a great reason because, again, we haven't won anything, but still. 216-859-8699 is the number to text or call. Let us know your favorite Cleveland Brown of all time.
You're listening to WSRR Radio. Hopefully, not in the airport.
I've got a bomb! Welcome back to Behind Enemy Lines on WSRR Radio. This show is brought to you by Synergy Music Studio, based out of Chicago. Synergy Music Studio offers a diverse array of musical services specifically crafted to meet our clients' needs, from recording to mixing and production. Discover how they can bring your vision to life at synergymusicstudio.com. You don't even need to be in Chicago. You can send them something, they'll mix it for you. Synergy Music Studio, again, that is synergymusicstudio.com. Dom, we're recording this on October 9th. Browns just lost to Jaden Daniels and the Washington Commanders. Jaden Daniels,
A great team.
obviously, so far, he's been the Rookie of the Year.
Generational talent.
Generational talent so far. Again,
Yeah.
I don't want to, things can happen, especially when you're in Washington.
There aren't many rookies who've gotten off to such a hot start as him.
No, I completely agree. Yeah.
RG3 is one of them, though, and we saw how
and now we see how that played out.
Yeah. Ben Roethlisberger, Dak Prescott. These are guys I'm thinking about who had amazing comparable starts to Jaden Daniels. Not many people come close to that.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of them, Mahomes, but that was his second year because for his rookie year, he didn't play. He was
Doesn't
behind
count.
Alex Smith. So, yeah, it doesn't count.
Jaden Daniels is the truth. I think the Commanders win the NFC East this year.
Yeah, well, I don't know. The
tough
Eagles are
division.
still obviously good, and
haven't been looking
Giants have looked better, but they're not going to win the division.
Will fall apart.
Who's the last team in there? The Giants, the Eagles, the Cowboys. Cowboys.
That was a big win on Sunday night against the Steelers.
Yeah, the Cowboys are always good. They're always top of the division, but are they going to win it? I don't know. That's a good. Yeah, we'll see. Have the Washington Commanders played a division game yet?
It's a great
I don't think
question.
so.
I don't think so.
No, they played the Giants. They beat the Giants, which, again, that's the worst team in the division. But it would be interesting to see them play. It will be interesting to see them play the Eagles twice and the Cowboys twice, because
That's the real test.
I think they definitely should be able to take at least one of those games. But, something you don't do in college is play a team twice in the same year. Mm-hmm. And, that second game, so many things can change.
Yeah.
It's a completely different game.
Might figure them out.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that'll be interesting to see how he'll handle that.
Do you think Jalen Hurts is starting to get figured out?
Maybe it's just their offense, though.
Yeah. It's not as electric as it was. You're missing Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown.
Yeah, that does hurt, obviously.
Saquon has been fantastic, but they don't look the same.
Saquon's trying to save the running back market.
Mm-hmm. He might be doing it.
Him and Derrick Henry. Look, him
every
and
penny.
Derrick Henry, both big offseason free agent acquisitions, and both of them have played great thus far for their new teams.
Yeah, I think Lamar is so much better with Derrick Henry.
Yeah, and we kind of talked about that last week or 2 weeks ago, whenever. But he's a freak with the ball in his hand, but also it just adds so much more to prepare for, from a defensive standpoint.
I think he's so much more of a threat in the run game. Even though you have better talent that can run the ball, I think it makes him way more dangerous. He's throwing the ball well too right now.
Lamar,
Yeah.
you're talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah. Who is there a better option though to run the ball?
Derrick Henry.
Yeah. I think they're kind of equal though. Almost.
Well, I'm
they're
saying
equally threatening.
When I said better, I mean better than last year
Oh yeah, then okay, no.
when
I
you had
understand
Gus
what you're saying.
Edwards and Keaton Mitchell.
Hey, Keaton Mitchell's
He was pretty good.
He surprised some people. Justice Hill is also nice.
Yeah, but Derrick Henry,
Yes, of course.
the best running back in the last of this generation.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, has
he's
to be.
I saw a podcast clip, I think, from a Barstool show that was he's going to be the last Hall of Fame running back, which I disagree because I think Saquon probably will be.
McCaffrey.
McCaffrey, yeah. Those two guys. But is there anyone else right now who's like a Hall of Fame guy? Probably not.
Playing right now? No. Like still waiting to get in? Yeah, probably.
So, no. But like right now,
there aren't a whole lot that are waiting to get in.
Who in the league right now, though? Like, I think Bijan Robinson maybe could be, but it's only his second year. Just wait.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, you're what?
But that's
just
why
immediately shook your head like his career was over.
Second year.
Well, that's why I said he could become that.
He hasn't looked good. He hasn't looked like a Hall of Famer yet.
What if Nick Chubb bounces back and leads the league in rushing next year? Is he a Hall of Famer?
Yeah.
Yeah?
If he leads the league in rushing next year, yeah.
Yeah.
Out of his 10th season, his age 29 season, that would be against all odds. He'd have to make the Hall of Fame.
Just for that.
Yeah. Pretty much.
I mean, he'd win comeback player of the year. He might win comeback player of the year this year.
You think Frank Gore's Hall of Fame?
Yeah, I would say so. I think Frank Gore's a freak, especially with that longevity.
Yeah, I mean, so if Nick Chubb does that.
What?
If Nick Chubb does that,
yeah,
then he's on Frank Gore. Better than Frank Gore.
I don't know. Frank Gore was pretty good.
He didn't have Nick Chubb numbers, though.
Is Matt Forte a Hall of Famer?
No, unfortunately not.
Matt Forte was pretty good.
He was really good.
He was another guy who was really, really good on not great team. Like the Bears were always good, but always decent. But really, it was mostly defensively.
I just feel like Matt Forte's prime was too short for him to make the Hall of Fame.
He was in the league a long time though.
Yeah, but those last 6 years were not good.
6 though? You think that many?
I'm gonna look at the stats.
He
here,
also.
Let me say another guy who I think is a lock to make the Hall of Fame: LaShawn McCoy.
A lock?
I think so.
Does he have any Super Bowl rings?
No.
That makes it tough.
It does, but neither does Matt Forte. And LaShawn McCoy, he's the definition of longevity at that position.
Yeah.
He was good towards the end of his career. He wasn't as great as he was when he was with the Eagles. But I think he's the only running back in NFL history to run for 10,000 yards in a decade.
10,000 in a decade. How many years has Derrick Henry played? Because he just passed 10,000
Well, I think
yards.
the thing with the decade is that, he's crossing over.
Oh, so you're saying in the 2010 or 20?
Yeah, 2010 to 2020, he
was
had
the only
10,000
person
yards.
Oh.
In NFL history, though.
Wow.
I mean, obviously, there's people who've played a decade and have had 10,000 yards, but within
I'm
an
now
actual
just
decade,
completely confused by the stat. I don't understand what you're trying to say.
It's a little bit of some fluff to get LaShawn McCoy into the Hall of Fame.
You're just trying to hype up your boy.
I like LaShawn McCoy. I think he's really
he
good.
Went to Pitt.
Yeah,
Part of it.
He was just cool. I think he's
Is he
from
the
Harrisburg
area?
too.
Is he from Pittsburgh area, or is he a Harrisburg guy?
Pretty sure.
That's close to York.
Yeah,
You're
it
a
is.
York.
Micah
York
Parsons, Harrisburg guy.
There you go. Shane Gillis, Harrisburg guy.
Mechanicsburg, yeah. Close enough though.
There you go. Yeah.
Let me look at these Matt Forte career stats because I'm kind of interested.
Matt Forte was a dual threat too. He was he was the first receiving back, really, not the first, but one of the best.
He's good, yeah. During the time he played 2008 to 2017. He only
played 9 years. 10. Well, I guess that is 10.
Yeah.
I thought he played more, honestly.
He played his last 2 years with the Jets, only the Bears and the Jets. Rookie year, he ran for 1,200 yards, 8 touchdowns. He had 63 catches for 477 yards and 4 receiving touchdowns. That was his best year, his rookie year. 2013, actually, he had 1,300 yards, 9 touchdowns. He had 74 catches for 594 yards.
74 catches as a running back is crazy.
Yeah, that is pretty nuts. He had 102 catches in 2014 for 808 yards and 4 touchdowns.
102 catches is insane for a running back.
He
He was a guy they would split him out and just run receiver routes with him.
Yeah.
He was that talented.
and he ran for over 1,000 yards that season too.
Yeah. I think that was the season I think he was the only person to ever run for over 1,000 yards and have 100 catches. I swear I remember a stat that was based around 100 catches or 1,000 yards or something, and I think that's what it was. I may have just completely made that up.
Do you think it's wrong to have an NFC team? Because I like the Bears.
Oh, when you're an AFC fan, you mean?
Yeah.
I don't think it's wrong. I think I mean, growing up in Cleveland, I feel like all of us had like a secondary team that we liked. Like I can think of everyone in my like core friend group in high school. Everyone had a team that they were known for liking.
Yeah.
I can run through all 10 of them right now. And I feel like there was reasons for them all too, because the Browns sucked.
Yeah,
like,
you gotta have something.
Well, everyone. I mean, like I can think of my friend Kyle. He liked the Saints because he loved Drew Brees.
Okay.
My friend Austin liked the Falcons because he
Who was
liked
your
Julio
team?
Jones. I didn't really have one, but I liked, like, really it was when we were in high school, but I really liked the Vikings because I liked Adam Thielen and I liked Stephon Diggs when he was young.
Yeah.
And not that I don't like him now, but like
Brett Favre.
I
Do you
love
like that
Stephon
Vikings
Diggs.
era?
No, that was too early for me. Oh, and I loved Adrian Peterson too.
Oh, yeah.
Like Adrian Peterson's one of my favorite players of all time. So the Vikings were kind of
He's
mine.
a Hall of Famer.
I was gonna say,
Lock.
speaking of Hall of Fame running backs, but like the Browns stunk. So like for us, it was like, yeah, you can have a second team. It's not that like whatever. You can even. It was even like you don't even have to root for the Browns if they play them because
They're
the
so
Browns
bad.
aren't gonna do anything.
Yeah, they
So
aren't gonna
like
make
if
the
they
playoffs.
beat them, they're just gonna ruin your other team's season, pretty much, like or hurt their playoff chances or something like that. You know. So I don't know if that's that bad, but you've been spoiled. You're a Steelers fan, so no, you can't have an NFC.
Oh, really?
team. Yeah. Why?
But
Who do
it's
you
the
want?
Bears. The Bears are the worst NFC team, probably. One
worst?
of. They went to a Super Bowl in, what,
about the
2005 or 2008? Panthers are pretty bad, but they
Yeah, but they
had
have one
Cam
of the best
Newton.
teams of all time. The Bears do.
Do they,
85
though?
Bears.
Yeah,
85
okay,
Bears
yeah,
are
yeah.
like
For an
considered
individual
one of the best
season.
teams of all time. Yeah.
But as a franchise, they're historic. They've never had a good quarterback. They're the only franchise who's never had a good quarterback.
Well, if you like the Bears so much, why were you trashing Matt Forte?
I'm not. I love Matt Forte. I was just looking. I just looked up. Is Matt Forte a Hall of Famer? Went to the Bears subreddit. All the Bears fans are like, no chance. They're like, he's the
What?
He's the Hall of very good, but he just. It's the whole longevity argument with Frank Gore, but he just doesn't have the numbers. He was never the clear-cut best running back in the league at any point. He's not. A
Yeah,
Hall
I
of
guess
Famer.
that's true.
Ah.
But also he wasn't
Bears
the,
fans are saying it.
he wasn't the clear-cut Hall of or best running back in the league because they weren't a very great team when he was there. You know what I mean? Like it's great. Like there's very few times when. Well, I guess maybe that's a lie. I was gonna say there's very few times when like you think the best player is on a really bad team, but like Justin Jefferson. But the Vikings have always been good when he's been there.
Yeah, but just
there
from a
anyone in
running
the-
back, I think running back's different. Maybe.
What about Saquon? Saquon has been on the Giants, and like still people were like, yeah, he's the best running back in the league.
Yeah.
At times.
Yeah.
In his career.
Yeah, I agree.
Like his.
I mean, I don't think the
first and
Lions
second
were
year?
good when Barry Sanders was on team.
Yeah, that's true. That is very. Yeah, they weren't good. I mean, they were good because they had him. And that
Yeah,
was
but
it.
they weren't. They could never win anything.
Yeah. Kind of like the
Real shame.
Browns.
Another Bears player who I loved back in the 2010s, Brandon Marshall. I know he was on different teams, but when he was on the Bears, that was
Brandon
fun.
Marshall, another guy at the end of his career, went to the Jets.
Yeah,
He was on my fantasy team for some year.
there are a lot of
for
players
some reason.
whose careers rot and ended on the Jets.
Yeah, I don't understand
Mike
that. Why do the
Williams,
Jets
it's happening
love
right now.
bringing out old guys. Aaron Rodgers. Brought
Antonio
Favre in.
Holmes.
Favre was only there for a year, though. Santonio Holmes.
Favre bounced back
LT,
after that. Yeah,
LaDainian Tomlinson. There's a lot of guys
they
like
might be
that.
the worst. No, obviously it's the Browns.
Yeah, the Browns are the worst franchise in the league. And the only reason it's the reason that they clear cut ours because of the longevity argument in how bad they've been.
Yeah.
Like the Jags have never really done anything, but they've only been a team for 20 some years. You know what I mean?
Jets, at least you had Namath.
Yeah, like the Jets at least won something way back when.
Panthers, at least had Cam Newton. Went to a Super Bowl. Browns, it's like there's no at least.
Yeah. Bengals have at least been to 2 Super Bowls. They lost them both.
But at least
Boomer
we got Joe
Esiason
Burrow and
Burrow.
Jamar Chase.
Yeah. Browns are. I said that the cheering for the Browns is like a toxic relationship right now. Like every week, you just hope that Deshaun Watson can find a way to find God and find himself and turn into a decent, at least decent quarterback.
He abandoned God long ago.
Oh, that yeah.
abandoned him.
I was hoping that they brought Jameis Winston in basically to do like ceremony, like a what do you call that? An exorcism.
Yeah.
On Deshaun Watson. Like, I was like, he's gonna lead him down the right path.
You'd think
like,
so.
Jameis is here. He's a
Good
veteran.
role
Like,
model.
he's had those issues in the past, like stealing crab legs and yelling stuff in the student union at Florida State. But like, now he's a role model.
He is.
Like, he keeps himself right.
Class
He's gonna,
act now.
yeah, he's gonna put Deshaun Watson under his wing. But no, I think that the Browns fans, like, I really feel like now we're all just waiting to get a fresh start, which it's going to be 3 years. But it's like, I don't think that the pain is going to end until we just have a fresh start and a new quarterback. And the thing is, they made such an investment in 4 that they kind of have to ride out his contract.
Yeah, unless these like legal issues actually are real
Yeah.
charges, then they
I
can
haven't
get
heard
out of
anything
it.
about that in a couple weeks.
That kind of fizzled out after week 2.
Yeah.
But he played so bad this last week, they might start popping up again.
They might come back. That is true.
The thing with Jameis, I think it's just an entertainment factor.
Yeah.
Like, you
At some
know,
point,
you're not
it's like you're
gonna-
not going to make the playoffs.
Exactly.
You might as well give us something to watch.
I just don't think having Deshaun Watson gives the Browns any more wins the rest of the season than if you put Jameis Winston in there. And Jameis Winston's at least going to give us some good moments, some
Yeah,
fun
and
stuff.
I legitimately think that, like, from watching Joe Flacco run the offense last year, that the offense might be better with Jameis Winston in there. Like, kind of just a game manager. Like, we can get back to, like, our bread and butter of running the ball a little bit more, which, by the way, we've completely just abandoned.
Yeah, Jerome
They've-
Ford gets nothing.
They were talking this week. I think it was Greg Olson in the booth. He was like, "Yeah, the Browns are in shotgun 76% of the time, which is more than any other team in the league, and they also have the least yards per play of anyone in the league."
Is it
Like,
because you think it's
they're the
because-
worst offense right now in the league?
You think they're in shotgun and passing so much because they're down early in these games?
No, because it's the first drive. They're still already in shotgun. It doesn't matter.
Well, you'd think you got Amari
And really,
Cooper
this is
and
the
Jerry
first-
Jeudy. Think you'd be
Yeah.
able to throw the ball.
They should be able to, and then people are like, well, the offensive line stinks, and they do, but Deshaun Watson still, like, is finding himself ways to get sacked. Like, I think he got sacked 7 times this week. Maybe I just made that stat up. I might have. But I watched a TikTok of, like, they're like, yeah, like, the offensive line isn't great, but, like, he's finding ways to get sacked. Like, he has a clean pocket here. He can step up. Like, this guy's open, but instead he just panicked. He starts scrambling.
Was sacked 7 times.
Yeah, 7 times, right? I didn't just make something up. There we go. I think Browns fans are fully just giving up on this year. And, like, my entire TikTok For You page is just edits of the 2020 Browns of Baker Mayfield and Nick Chubb and Myles Garrett and Rashard Higgins. I think I could name almost all 53 players on that roster. Like, that's the
That's
one
the last time you
shining
felt
light.
something.
Yes, exactly. That's the last time I felt excited about the Browns. Well, the year after, I felt really excited. Week 1 when they played the Chiefs and they almost had a chance.
Yeah.
And I specifically remember they went for it on a 4th down, like a 4th and 2, and they just had Baker throw like a hitch route and they got it. And I was like, this is awesome. We're an elite football team. Like, we can go toe-to-toe with the Chiefs right now.
Then Baker-
Like, that, for some reason, in my mind, I was like, the switch has been flipped.
But then Baker got hurt.
And then Baker got hurt, and then
kept playing.
he looked terrible, and then we got rid of him.
Never got the surgery needed.
Nope.
Part of that's, I mean, you can't really blame the Browns organization. You can in a lot of ways, but
For what,
Baker was
moving on?
bad.
He had
When he
some
was hurt.
really bad moments.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, well, he won you a playoff game. If you watch the games, like, there was games we lost or even games that we would win, but, like, he just would miss wide open guys and, like, throw over their heads and whatever. And he just looks so much more comfortable now in Tampa Bay. I don't
His
know what it
shoulders
is.
healed.
That's true as well. But, like, even before the injury, even in the 2020 year,
Oh,
like,
he wasn't as good as he is right now.
no.
Yeah, you're right.
He's playing his best football of his career right now,
Yeah.
of his professional career.
Yep.
Maybe not when he was at Oklahoma, because he was a
He was
Heisman
different.
winner.
Is he better? Was he better than Kyler in college?
Kyler won the Heisman too,
Yeah.
right?
They won back-to-back years, I'm pretty sure.
Did Kyler Murray go to the college football playoff? I think they both did. And neither of them won a game.
I don't even know if Kyler did.
Maybe they didn't though. I'd have to look. I'm not sure.
I'll have to look at that during the break.
Speaking of college football. We have a minute before the break, but Vanderbilt beats Alabama, unranked.
How about it?
Beats number 1 after like a week after Bama goes in just maybe not demolishes because at the end of the game it was close, but first half demolishes Georgia.
Yeah, they handed it to them, I'd say.
Yeah, but at the end Georgia came back.
They did, yeah.
And then Bama
But Alabama looked like national championship caliber team.
Yes, they did. But Vanderbilt, they go to Nashville. Vanderbilt wins, tear down the field goal post, and they go take them into the river. Like, that's a moment where I'm like, man, how much money would I pay to be there? Just to be part of that energy. A lot.
I don't know how much. Probably like $400.
I'd pay a couple hundred.
Yeah.
Like, to be there and, like, to experience that mob mentality.
Yeah, because the odds of even going to a game like that, one, I feel like most of the students and fans don't. Vanderbilt doesn't pack in their stadium every game.
No, I think they kind of. This game,
Alabama?
actually, there was just as many Bama fans as Vanderbilt fans.
I believe
there.
it.
And you could hear them, and the commentators for most of the game were talking about how Bama's getting backed here, and they still couldn't handle it. I think that almost made them too comfortable.
Yeah.
And
Trap game.
it was a huge trap game, but we'll see what they drop to. I don't know if the rankings have come out yet. This is Behind Enemy Lines, 216-859-8699. Let us know what you think of college football landscape right now.
WSRR Radio. This machine kills monopolies.
Welcome back to Behind Enemy Lines, your Cleveland sports show recorded in Pittsburgh. This last segment of the show is brought to you by Hellbender Vinyl. Hellbender is Pittsburgh's first and only custom vinyl recording pressing plant. It's actually also Pennsylvania's only vinyl recording pressing plant, just blocks away from my home. It's in Upper Lawrenceville. Hell-bent on quality, hell-bent on service, Hellbender Vinyl.
Mm-hmm. I was actually looking at some Hellbender Vinyl. I was looking at their Instagram. It's crazy. I think vinyl is just a crazy form of art in a good way.
You got some vinyl records behind you right now?
I do. I am a vinyl record collector. But it's just like crazy that they can put sound on just this piece of.
I don't understand how it works. I have no clue.
I don't understand it.
And they came up with it like hundreds of years, over 100 years ago.
I think
Maybe
more than that.
But
hundreds.
That is crazy to me.
But
they're putting a needle on a piece of plastic.
Needle and grooves
makes a song.
Yeah, I don't know how it works.
I have no clue how it.
I can read about it. People can explain it to me. It still blows my mind every time.
Doesn't make any sense.
Like a lot of things though, like Bluetooth.
Yeah.
Wi-Fi.
Bluetooth somehow makes more sense to me though.
Yeah, me too. But I don't know why.
Yeah.
If I think about it hard, I'm like, nah, it doesn't really make sense.
It doesn't make
like
any
how
sense.
someone just figured out how to communicate devices without any connection.
Yeah, it's like those people that like those TikToks of it's just like a mountain landscape. It's just nothing. It's all nature. It's like, man, people really took this and made Bluetooth out of it. That's crazy.
It's insane. Like, think about that. Like, I don't know. It's just crazy how fast things have advanced.
Yeah,
you go
and it's only going quicker and quicker.
From like airplane to being on the moon in like less than 100 years, I think.
Yeah, to
maybe 50 years.
To TikTok on your phone. Do I talk about TikTok too much on this show? I feel like I mentioned TikToks a lot.
I mean, it's hot. You got to talk about it.
It's hot.
It's what the people want.
It's what the people want to hear. Is TikTok
so hot.
Talk.
It's that new fad.
It's AJ and Big Justice
and the Rizzler
in Madison Square Garden.
Electric.
Absolute electricity.
Just look that up on Twitter or on
How old
Google.
is the Rizzler? He's like 10, right? 12? I'd say 12.
My perception.
No, he's younger than 12.
My perception of like age and kids is
yeah, me too. I have no clue.
Because I was gonna say like 6, but now that you say 10,
there's no way he's 6.
Now that you say 10, that's probably more accurate.
6 is like hard to form sentences.
Yeah, I don't see the Rizzler like. I guess he is pretty wise.
Yeah, he's a good talker. He like has like a good like
Gift of
awareness of. He like seriously has good awareness of vibes.
He does.
Which is such a stupid thing to
you're
say.
So right.
But it's kind of like I'm not even joking. He like understands jokes.
He understands the moment too.
Yeah, exactly.
He knows exactly when to talk. He knows exactly what to say.
Yeah.
Sometimes
he knows
I'm
like when to do his little Riz face. You know, like he knows what's going on.
Sometimes I think that maybe he has a better grasp on things than I do.
Sometimes I think maybe he's a 30-year-old in a 10-year-old's body.
He really does act like it.
Yeah.
Some of the things he says, like, that's a little too.
Yeah, I'm like, man,
wise.
this guy knows what he's doing.
I'm trying to look up how old is the Rizzler. Someone says 8 years old. That sounds.
No, I think 8's too young. I think he's 10. I'd give him 10.
All right. I'll get behind
He's not
that.
12. 12 is nearing high school age, and he's not.
Yeah.
Because what are you, 13? No.
Yeah,
what are you,
13, 14.
14?
Yeah.
When you go into high school?
Yeah.
Well, you're
I don't think he's
16
in
when you're
middle
getting your
school yet.
license, and that's sophomore year.
I think he's 10. 10 sounds about right.
I'm sticking with 10.
I'll go 9. But regardless, could you imagine being the Rizzler? Playing basketball at Madison Square Garden?
First off, no, I couldn't. Just that. No, I couldn't. I couldn't imagine having that much aura.
Imagine being a 10-year-old, your 10-year-old self, and people online just find you fascinating.
Yes,
And
they're enamored
And
with
the
you.
Knicks invite you to come play a celebrity basketball game at Madison Square Garden. The crowd goes nuts whenever you touch the ball. You airball every single shot. Everyone still loves you. And then you go to school the next morning.
He's probably headed for a drug overdose in his 20s.
The Rizzler will die.
Yeah.
well, no, he
yes,
won't.
well, yes, so will you, Dom.
The Rizzler will.
The Rizzler will die.
In 20 years, we'll see a headline. The formerly known as the Rizzler,
Formerly known as the Rizzler,
has been arrested.
on drug possession.
Domestic violence.
How many years for that?
20.
He'll be 30 at that
Yeah.
point.
You don't think he's
it
making
won't
that
take-
far?
It won't take that long.
Give
yeah.
him 10 years.
Now he does just have such a good grasp on life, though. It seems like he's so wise.
But something's gonna break there.
I think,
Child stars never.
yeah,
always
that's what I
lose a
mean.
little
Like he's
bit.
got too much. See, when you look at the word Riz, like the base of that is charisma. He
He's got
really
it.
does just have like
He oozes.
He oozes. He said it at the same time.
Exactly.
He oozes charisma. Like he just. And like, what is charisma? It's like knowing the scene and like knowing the setting and like,
I don't know if that's what charisma is.
in my opinion, it's like knowing what
Okay.
everyone wants,
Yeah.
and what the vibe of the room is, and controlling that, and
Yeah.
people being drawn to you. And really, at the base of that, he is that. He has that. He oozes machismo and charisma.
He's kind of the freaking man. I'm out on Big Justice and AJ.
I think the Rizzler will either crash out or be the next president.
He could be. Speaking of presidents, and
Oh,
this
God.
kind of leads to kind of wrap things up, put a bow on things.
Oh, okay,
I
never
think
mind.
The Rock will be president one day.
Oh, I didn't. That's not. I thought you were going like 4 different ways there.
Well, there's a lot. There are a
Rock?
lot of ways I could go with it, but that's what I'm thinking.
I think he may hold office at some point, like Schwarzenegger.
Yeah,
But he won't be
Not
the president.
president.
He won't make it to president.
but the thing with Schwarzenegger, I think maybe like back in the day he could have been president, but he wasn't born in the United States.
Yeah.
That
But
disqualifies.
I think that Arnold Schwarzenegger is smarter than The Rock is, though.
I think The Rock is smarter than people give him credit for.
I think if
I think
you
he acts like a big jock, but I think
yeah, but if you
Pretty
watch
brilliant.
interviews of Arnold Schwarzenegger, like he like knows things about like he like has a photographic memory of like real estate from 40 years ago.
really.
Like he was like, all right, now I got to hone into my Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Where'd you learn this
impersonation.
documentary?
No, I listened to. It's all hearsay from a different
Gotcha.
podcast. This is just podcast. This is like fourth hand podcasting. Is I heard them say it.
Cut through the middleman. We'll give you the highlights of
Yeah.
every podcast.
He was like, well, yes, back in 1970, I remember because the interest rates were this. So what we did was we invested in that, and then this came, and like he's talking about
Pretty
all
good
this, and he
impression.
knows about. Yeah, was that good?
Not
You like
bad,
that?
yeah.
Thank you.
Better than I
appreciate
could do,
it.
I think.
I love the pump. That's what he talks. Remember? You seen that video of him on pumping iron?
I've seen a lot of videos of this guy.
I don't know if I can say what he says on there.
A little too explicit.
Yeah, he talks about pumping iron and just
love it.
getting jacked.
He's
But-
kind of the man.
So you think The Rock though could be the president?
Well, I think, yeah, I do. Maybe even John Cena, honestly.
You're on a big WWE kick now, aren't
Well,
you?
here's what
You
made me
just
think
watched-
of this.
Go ahead.
So I watched this Mr. McMahon documentary, and it shows how Trump which, I'm not political. I'm not going to say anything. But this guy was in WWE matches.
Yeah.
And this guy had
Wait,
charisma.
Trump?
Yeah.
He fought?
He fought Vince McMahon.
Yeah, but he didn't actually wrestle, right?
No, he was
had,
actually like doing like moves on him and stuff.
No, I thought he had Bobby Lashley do something for him. Or,
He may
I
have like
gotta watch
smacked
the
him
whole
or
thing.
something. But the point isn't like the actual fighting. The point is like the audience. Like he understood how to captivate.
Yeah, exactly.
People. And it was like, but in a different way. It's not like normal, like a politician way where you swoo people because you're lying to them or whatever. But he's doing it in a way that gets people fired up.
Which is what you need to do in wrestling, is just whether you like them or not.
Exactly.
You just want a reaction.
I think The Rock he understands that. And I think John Cena, I think just WWE as a whole, I think maybe one day you'll see a wrestler as president.
Yeah,
Maybe
I do
Dave
think
Bautista.
Definitely not. I think that wrestlers do have like a crazy grasp on that.
Yeah.
Like on what the public wants and what the audience, like they know how to control an audience. Like they just pretty much have stage presence.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that translates enough into to be a president.
Well, it doesn't go straight from wrestling to the president. It goes from wrestling to movie star to the biggest celebrity in the world to, okay, you can probably win an election.
So you don't think do you think The Rock will be in politics first in terms of being a governor or a senator?
No.
He'll just go straight to running for president?
Yeah, he'll do the same thing Trump did. Trump never ran for any office. He didn't hold any political titles.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
But he knew how to
in that.
captivate people, get people fired up. He didn't care if he was telling the truth.
I don't know. That's an interesting thought. That's the only way I can that's the only way I can answer that, is that it's an interesting thought.
I think John Cena, honestly. I think the view of him is he's a little too corny now.
Cena?
But in 30 years, how do you think people will think of him?
Do you think
he's got
Cena's
a really
going to be
good-
as good of an actor, as big of an actor as The Rock?
Nah, I don't think he's good enough.
You know?
Not a good enough actor. He's pretty funny, but
He is.
he just looks way too strange. Not like The Rock doesn't.
I actually think he's a better actor than The Rock.
Really?
I feel like The Rock is like so
One-dimensional.
very one-dimensional. Now he is, especially.
Yeah.
Now, like when he was early in his career and he did like the Game Plan, I was like, all right, this guy's kind of like decent.
Yeah.
Like then he did like that movie with
The Mummy?
with Steve Carell.
He's
The
done so
Mummy.
many
He's not in The
movies.
Mummy.
Who, The Rock?
Yeah, is he?
Yeah.
Are you thinking of Scorpion King? He's in that movie.
I might need to look into this because maybe.
Scorpion King? It's kind of the same like deserty vibe.
Yeah,
Maybe that's what you're thinking.
I think so.
The Rock now, if you see anything though, like any movie that he's in, you just know
It's
it
the
has
same character.
It has no stakes. There's nothing at stake.
That's why I think the movie thing, he's probably going to realize that's kind of
washed.
running.
You think he's washed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I think
mean,
he
like,
appeals to like the middleman. I think he doesn't like lean.
do you think that's why he
strongly
came
either way.
back to wrestling? Because maybe he was missing something, and like he did a bunch of stuff for that Black Adam movie,
Mm-hmm.
and then like no one watched it.
Yeah, that was a big fail.
Yeah.
But I think he probably misses like appealing to an audience. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously you are with the movie, but
And
like
I
a
also
live
think that
audience.
wrestling's in a renaissance right now, where it's like growing. It's back, which like I said to you before we started recording, like you were saying how it's PG
Mm-hmm.
and like they have to get it back to like PG-13 to like get people interested.
Yeah.
And like I really do think they're heading towards that. Like I mentioned to you, like I stopped watching WWE when I was like 13, really. Maybe even somewhere around there.
Mm-hmm.
I think from like 2015 until the last couple of years, it was very like kid friendly. Like you could see in like everything was like vibrant colors and stuff
Yeah.
like that. It just seemed like very like a kid's show.
Yeah.
Like you said, it was really gimmicky.
Definitely.
But I think that like the kids who started watching it then are now growing up or like high school and
Well, you
Like-
see the exact audience they're going for. They got prime Logan Paul prime things.
They're going
everywhere.
for YouTube kids.
Yeah, but those
Which
kids,
is why Logan Paul's so big. But also
those Logan Paul
Paul's
fans
good.
are older now.
Or Jake, wait, no, which one is it? Logan Paul.
yeah.
But Logan Paul's good.
Yeah,
he's
that's
actually
what I've heard.
he's very good.
That's what
He's
I've heard.
athletic. He's
Yeah.
impressive.
But his whole character thing was corny. He was wearing like a Pokemon card chain.
Yeah, it kind of started that way.
Yeah.
When he like came from boxing over, but like now I feel like he's more
a heel?
built for it now. Yeah, he's still a heel, but like
He'd be a good heel.
He's respected almost.
Okay.
In my opinion.
There's just no like superstars in wrestling that I'm interested in right now.
No.
Like who is it? Like Roman Reigns and
So Roman Reigns killed, like, when I was watching from afar, seeing him, I was like, I can't watch this.
he's boring.
He's super boring.
Yeah.
He was the champion for like 3 years. I was like, that's lame. I like when there's like some contention. It goes back and forth. Like someone's a champion for a month, and
Yeah.
then someone else for 2 weeks, and then
Like I was watching this documentary. Like the storylines back then were so much more captivating.
oh yeah,
It's
they
Steve
were
Austin
awesome.
versus Mr. McMahon.
Yes,
Seemed great. Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant. Bret Hart versus Shawn Michaels. I mean, the rivalries just seem so much better. Like
Yeah,
now I
and
couldn't tell you
and
one rivalry in.
it seemed it seemed more personal. Like they kind of made it seem, and it also like they made those great promos and stuff. But like it just seemed more personal and a little bit more realistic.
You ever seen the Rey Mysterio versus Eddie Guerrero battle for the custody of Dominic?
Yeah, that's spectacular. See, that's
That
like early
graphic's
2000
electric.
stuff, like 90s, 2000 stuff. That was just awesome.
They can't do that anymore.
859-8699. Let us know your favorite WWE memories. This has been Behind Enemy Lines. Thank you for listening. Tune in next week when we talk about
God knows
more
what.
WWE stuff and more of the Rizzler.
Peace.
The preceding program is a StylesRebelRadio.com production.